Hello, everybody. So we're going to continue with Chapter 12, Lessons of Study. Today we're doing Lesson 12.2, Customary Units of Length. So you'll recall from yesterday that customary units of length involve inches, feet, yards, and miles. Okay, so we're going to utilize those basic units today. So how can you use models to compare customary units of length? All right. Unlock the problem. You can use a ruler to measure length. A ruler is 1 foot long. A ruler that is 1 foot long shows 12 inches in 1 foot. A ruler that is 3 feet long is called a yardstick. There are 3 feet in 1 yard. Okay, so let's summarize what they just told us there. 12 inches is 1 foot, and that would be your basic ruler. A ruler is about a foot long. If I have a ruler that is 3 feet long, that would be 1 yard, and that's called a yardstick. All right, so those are two basics there. 3 feet in a yard, 12 inches in a foot. How did the size of a foot compare to the size of an inch? Well, if you want to do this activity, this is how you would do it. Okay, you're going to get inch grid paper. You'll need scissors and some tape. You're going to cut out the paper inch tiles. You're going to label each tile 1 inch. And you'll notice there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 separate 1 inch labels. And that makes sense. There's 12 inches in 1 foot. So in one ruler, there will be 12 inches. Step 2, you're going to place the 12 tiles end to end to build 1 foot. Tape them together. Okay. That will match the size of a ruler. Now, compare the size of a ruler to just 1 inch. How many times bigger is 1 foot than 1 inch? How many times bigger? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times this will give me a foot. Okay. So we could also say that every 1 inch is 1/12 of a foot. So let's look at some examples in this compare measures. So Emma has 4 feet of thread. She needs 50 inches of thread to make some bracelets. How can she determine if she has enough thread to make the bracelets? Well, since 1 foot is 12 times as long as 1 inch, you can write 12 feet as inches by multiplying the number of feet by 12. So if I have 1 foot, I would have 12 inches. If I'd have 2 feet, 2 sets of 12 is 24. If I have 3 feet, 3 sets of 12 is 36. 4 sets of 12 is 48. 5 sets of 12 is 60. Okay. All right. So she has, let's just look back at the question. She has 4 feet of thread. She needs 50 inches to make some bracelets. Well, if she has 4 feet, she only has 48 inches. She needs 50 inches. She doesn't have enough, does she? She's 2 inches short. So she'd have to have at least 5 feet or 60 inches. So compare 4 feet and 50 inches. What was 4 feet? 4 feet was 48 inches. 4 times 12. So which one's bigger? 50 or 48? 50 is. So Emma has 4 feet of thread, and since she needs 50 inches of thread, 4 feet is less than 50 inches. So she doesn't have enough. Does not have enough. Okay, so then it goes on to say, well, what if she had 5 feet of thread? Would she have enough? Well, yeah, she would. 5 feet would be 5 times 12, which equals 60 inches. 60 is greater than 50, so she would have enough. All right, that seems fairly straightforward. Page 477. Compare the size of a yard to the size of a foot. Use a model to help. Well, here we have 1 yard. It would take me 3 12-inch rulers to equal 1 yard. So we're going to use either inches or feet. Well, for the sake of this model, let's put 1 foot. Because every ruler that has 12 inches in it is 1 foot. So 1 yard is how many times bigger? It's 3 times as long as 1 foot. So let's look over here. 1 foot, 12 inches. 1 yard, 3 feet. And then another basic one that we just kind of know and we start to memorize is that 1 yard is 36 inches. Why is that? Well, they just told us that 1 yard is 3 feet. Every foot has 12 inches. 12 times 3 is 36. So every yard has 36 inches or 3 feet. All right, 2 feet. Well, 2 feet is less than a yard. 2 feet times 12. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 24 inches. 3 yards is how many feet? 3 yards. So every yard, 1 yard equals 3 feet. So 3 yards equals 3 times 3. 3 times 3 feet. So 3 yards equals 9 feet. 7 yards. Okay, well, it's the same basic thing, except instead of multiplying by 3, we're going to multiply by 7 because they're 7 yards this time. So we still know that 1 yard is 3 feet. They have 7 yards. So 7 yards equals 7 times 3 feet. 7 yards equals 21 feet. 21, 7 times 3 is 21. 4 yards is how many feet? Again, it's the same thing we've been doing. 1 yard equals 3 feet. Okay, these are just basic equivalent units that we just need to know. We need to know 1 yard is 3 feet. Shouldn't have to think about it. 1 yard, 3 feet. Okay, so if we have 4 yards, that would be 4 times 3 feet. We have 4 yards, so we have 4 sets of 3 feet. So 4 yards is 12 feet. 10 yards. Same thing again. If 1 yard is 3 feet, then 10 yards is 10 times 3 feet. So 10 yards is 30 feet. All right, 7 feet is how many inches? All right, well, at least this is a little different. 1 foot is how many inches? 12. 12 inches in every foot. We have 7 feet. So 7 feet equals 7 times 12 inches. We have 7 sets of 12 inches. 12 times 7, 84 inches. Okay, the math work for that would have been 7 times 12. 7 times 2 is 14. Regroup that as 110 and 4 ones. 7 times 110 is 7, plus the regroup 10, 8. All right, 84 inches. Now we're just going to compare these. 1 foot compared to 13 inches. Well, when we make comparisons like this, it's easiest if we convert one of them into the other measurement. 13 inches compared to a foot. I'm going to change the foot into inches. 1 foot equals 12 inches. Okay, so now I'm comparing 12 to 13. All right, so a foot is less than 13 inches. 2 yards compared to 6 feet. 2 yards equals 2 times 3 feet. So 2 yards equals 6 feet. 6 feet, or 2 yards, is equal to 6 feet. All right, 6 feet, 60 compared to 60 inches. Well, we know that 1 foot is 12 inches. So 6 feet equals 6 times 12. 12 times 6 is 72. So 72 inches, or 6 feet, is greater than 60 inches. I could have just as easily turned 60 inches into feet. Okay, that would have been 12 times 5 is 60, so it would have been 5 feet. Still, 6 feet is greater than 5 feet. All right, number 11. All right, Joanna has 3 yards of fabric. She needs 100 inches of fabric to make curtains. Does she have enough fabric to make curtains? Explain. Make a table to help. Okay, now remember, we said that 1 yard is 3 feet. There are 12 inches in every foot. And so we said, well, 1 yard is 36 inches. We just need to know that. 1 yard, 36 inches. So 2 yards would be 2 times 36. That would be 72 inches. And 36 times 3, 36 inches in every yard, have 3 sets of 36 inches, would be 108 inches. So she has 3 yards of fabric, which is 108 inches. She needs 100 inches of fabric to make curtains. Does she have enough? Yes. Because 3 yards is equal to 3 times 36, which is 108 inches. 108 is greater than 100. Number 12. Select the measures that are equal. Mark all that apply. 4 feet. 4 feet would be 4 times 12. That's 48 inches. Okay, so that doesn't really match anything. 12 yards. 12 yards, there's 3 yards in every, 3 feet in every yard. 12 divided by 3 would give me 4 feet. Or I could say 4. I'm sorry. No, that's not correct. Sorry about that. That's not right. 12 times 3. So 36 feet. Okay. Every yard has 3 feet. 36 feet. Okay, so 36 feet and 12 yards do match. All right. How about, I wonder what 432 inches is. Do you think 12 times 36? Because 36 inches in a yard, do you think that's 432? I don't know. Let's try it. 36 times 12. So what am I doing? I'm taking the 12 yards and I'm multiplying by 36. Okay, because that's the only way to get these larger numbers. 6 times 2 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 more, that's 7. And then we're going to multiply 36 times 10. And 36 times 10 is 360. That's 432. Yeah, okay. So 12 yards is the same as 36 feet, which is the same as 432 inches. Okay. 4 feet was 48 inches, not 480. So that doesn't match. 15 feet times 12, that's 180 inches. So no. So A, D, and E do not match. 12, 36, 432 are equal to each other. Number 13. Jasmine and Luke use fraction strips to compare the size of a foot to the size of an inch using fractions. Okay, that makes sense. They drew models to show their answers. Whose answer makes sense? Whose answer is nonsense? Explain your reasoning. Well, Jasmine is saying that this is 1 foot. It's a ruler, she's saying. And she can have, it's going to take her 12 inches to equal a foot. I agree with that. 12 inches in a foot. So she's saying 1 inch is 1/12 of a foot. That's true. Okay. 12 twelfths inches would be a foot. Luke is saying 1 inch is a third of a foot. 3 inches doesn't equal a foot. No, something's wrong there. This doesn't make sense. So Jasmine's makes sense because there is 12-inch parts in a foot. So every part would be 1/12 of a foot. One inch is 1/3 of a foot. Okay, Luke's is nonsense. 1 inch cannot be a third of a foot. 1/3 means he would have 3 inches. 3 inches does not equal a foot. All right. For the answer that is nonsense, write an answer that makes sense. Well, okay, if he really wanted to have 3, there's 12 inches in a foot. 12 inches in a foot, divide by 3. 12 inches divide by 3. So he wants to break it into third size parts. Well, that would be 4 inches. 4, 8, 12. Okay, now that makes a little more sense, right? It would take me 3 sets of 4 inches to equal 12 inches or a foot. So we can say that 4 inches is 1/3 of a foot. How did we figure that out? We know that there's 12 inches in a foot. A third means there's 3 parts, so 12 divided by 3. That would mean each equal part has to be 4 inches. So if I have 1/3 of a foot, I would have 4 inches. Look back at Luke's model. Which 2 units could you compare using his model and explain? Okay, so there's another way of looking at this that's true as well. What if this was 1 yard? Well, then 1 foot would be 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to add an answer to A too, just so to show that there's a couple ways of thinking about that. He can compare feet and yards. It takes 3 feet to equal 1 yard. All right, so I'm also going to write here that 1 foot is 1/3 of a yard. Okay, because that is true. If I had 3 feet, I'd have a yard. So his model, back to B, sorry about that, back to B. His model shows 1/3 of a yard. Because 1 foot would be 1/3 of a yard. All right, so that's it for lesson 12.2. In our next lesson, lesson 12.3, we will be talking about customary units of weight. So until then, may the numbers always be in your favor.